What's up with it? Kill 'em all Coop back in this thing. This isn't your first time on YouTube. You know what to do. Go ahead, subscribe, man. And I don't like the long intros. We getting straight into it. We talking about this book called Bloods. Now listen, before I go all into the book, there is actually a bunch of movies, a bunch of YouTube history you can find on this situation. None have been better than this book. Spike Lee actually has a Netflix, I don't know if you call it documentary. It's definitely a film directed by him. It's called The Five Bloods, DA5 Bloods. It's on Netflix currently. It's like a 6.6 on what is it, IMDb. It's like a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't get how you get a 6.6 and then somebody says it's a 92, because a brother like me watched it and the shit was garbage. All right, it was cool. I get what Spike was trying to do. You tried to fit too much into a limited amount of time. Some of the editing graphics were kind of cheesy. I wasn't feeling it. Too poetry long. Anyways, this is not about the Spike Lee the Spike Lee joint. This is about this book here. Now, Bloods. I actually received this book from my neighbor, and basically, the book is by Wallace Terry, national bestseller. Right here on the front of it, simply the most powerful and moving book that has emerged on this topic. Not only just book, because this is the only book I've really actually read on this topic. This book was actually inspirational to my my further mental liberation as a black man. And what I'm saying is the book was great because it really outlined what black soldiers went through in the military in the Vietnam War. Now, I know it sounds kind of, some of you guys aren't into the whole war thing, but hear me out. Now, 13% of at the time of blacks in America made up the population. We were 13%. When the war draft happened, we made up 30% of the war. So the numbers are extremely crazy just on how we went in. And that just goes off rip. That's showing you what the racism it just in the world was at the time, in America especially, and just what I guess, people thought of black people, because motherfuckers was dying. I mean, Vietnam War was a war that a lot of people didn't agree with in the first place. Everybody knows the story about Ali. A lot of people just weren't cool with going to war and felt like, the principles that we were going over there to fight for and liberate our people from, we weren't coming home and receiving that same treatment. And I don't want to go all black history on you and all deep, because this isn't one of those. This is just the reality of this book. Solid book, great book. Now, one thing that it really outlined, that really honed in on me, and that I'll forever remember, was the amount of drug use that was going on over there in Vietnam, as far as kind of staying sane. And you got to remember, this was before like post-traumatic stress was really a thing. So blacks were coming back home from war and being fucked up. You know what I mean? They would become alcoholics, not having anywhere to go, still getting treated terribly, still getting treated like you're just another black man. And that's what we were over there fighting against the Vietnam to try to change. And we wanted to be one of the people who stepped in and felt that we were doing the right thing. America, we like to put our hands in everybody's business. We are the nosy aunt, okay? But I'm and I'm not one of those guys, because if you ask anybody who reads books, you talk to other people who read books or people who are reading books, the newest book readers will always say the book that they have or their book they're reading, it's a really good book. When have you ever heard somebody be like, that was a really bad book? You know who says that? People who don't read books. Anybody who doesn't read books regularly, they always say that. Oh, this book is really good. And then you read it and you're like, shit was good. I can tell you don't read much. This is one of those ones I would recommend going out and get. If you're a war buff, definitely. If you're not, I would still go out and get it, because it's not just history, it's truth, and it's oral story. So the way they wrote it was they were like almost, I would say, journals of black men at the time that were kind of formed into like a nice synopsis, and they present it to you. The thing about the book that really also kind of stuck with me was the amount of women of the night the soldiers were, I would say, taking advantage of, as far as the ones who did it for money and the ones who were brutally just raping people. And this wasn't just a white or black thing. This was just a soldier thing in general. A lot of these men tapped into some different, animalistic type attitudes that that are just, it's only you have to be there type of thing, and it became regular for some of these men. It was very trying time. For black men in America, for people in America. War is never good for any country. It's always turbulent for the residents. But the amount of black men and just the improper treatment. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys know what a point man is, but a point man is the first guy going out. So, hey, there's a bunch of shooting going on, whatever happens, or hey, we're trying to cross this bridge. Hey, you're the point man. You go first. You gonna go check it out first. Black men were, of course, never really ranked up to lieutenant. The black men were always kind of conducted from a white man at the time. And hey, they were told, hey, you go. And what you find, though, is that over time, like there was a story in here about, I can't remember the gentleman's name. There were so many people, but there was a brother from, I don't remember exactly where he's from, but I know that the white dude he ended up meeting was from Arkansas and said he had never seen a black man in his life and was severely racist. And he said literally till I think he passed away in like maybe the 90s or 80s. I can't remember exactly when they said dude passed, but they were good friends after the war. So these bonds and brotherhoods, it's like sports, man. Sports doesn't get enough credit for the unity between black and white people in America. Not only just sports, but with war, the military. Combining people to be forced by people, you really recognize, hey, this guy's just like me, and hey, you're from there. Oh, you like that too? It's nothing cooler than when I see like a white dude who likes battle rap. Like that's what. Oh, word. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the cultures of America. And we all have slowly becoming assimilated. And they said by 2051, everybody's gonna look light skinned like me. Who knows? Who cares? But I do think this book is worth the read. I don't want to sit here and spoil it all for you. Like I said, my neighbor gave me this book, and I didn't even know he read it. He's a dude named Fred back home, and my mom's neighbor, and we were out talking. He's known me for years now, and we just started talking about books. He went to his garage, put out a book, and he just started put out a bunch of books, and we just kept talking about ones, and I was like, this one looks interesting. It's an old book when the highlighted sides. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Check this out. I don't want to sit here and go in depth on each and everything, but a lot of stories were guys who've been captured, and how they were treated, like captured early in the war, how they were treated, and some of it's terrible, man, because some of these guys were captured with injuries, and then the Vietnams, once you got a captured person, you ain't really caring. So a lot of these guys had lingering issues that they dealt with for years, and then they finally got like surgery on like a broken foot or something, and a lot of guys, one guy said his shoulder had collapsed when he fell out of an airplane and he was captured, and he literally still has the shoulder issue to this day where like it's like, crushed in because he was captured and held for 5 years. And they were like, then he got some appendix thing going on. There was some type of injury that got infected. And then he said when they put him back together, with some type of like loose particles that he ended up coughing up one day. Listen, man. Lots of stories. I could sit here and go through all of them. But the two most important things that I took from the book was the black lineage, as far as the war, and unity, man. What can really become of a nation, and how proud I am of these black men who went out and fought, and a lot of them didn't know what they were getting themselves into. Don't want to go too far, man. Thank you for checking this out. I said I was going to do more vlogs. I do them as they come, man. Quarantine's been tough on everybody. So I hope everybody is good out there. Kill 'em all, coop. I'll be back with another one.